there. Good evening. Welcome back to Celtic World Order podcast. It is always a pleasure to have you here join us back in the channel for another chat about Celtic. The circumstances of which, of course, we're going to be having this chat are shite. So let's get that straight out there right off the bat. Let's not mince our words. Not let's kid ourselves on. It was an absolute capitulation in the second half. We will talk about all of the game, of course. Let's, again, be fair. The first half was pretty damn good. And dare I say it, I even text and says, maybe this is what Celtic are supposed to look like. How quickly things can come undone. Because that is exactly what's happening. It is coming undone. It is falling apart at the seams. It is going into a rapid decline. And the big question is always going to be, of course, is where do we go from here and what do we do from here? Joining me for the middle of the North Sea, it is Paddy Boy. Mate, thank you first and foremost for joining us, particularly in such grim circumstances. I'll ask you how you are, but I think I know the answer.
Yeah, listen, mate, I'm fine. I hate to say I told you so. Sat on here last night, we spoke about results and what we thought going forward. I said it'll either be 2-1 United or 2-2 if we can pull it together. But it was the same on here, mate. Listen, like I say, I work with people that support every team on here. Even United fans are sitting watching it by a United fan. He's obviously over the moon. Before the game, he's sitting here, he says, I'd settle for a 3-0 and now, Paddy. I was like, you kidding me on? I says, honestly, I says, he'll beat us. He's will squad us. Because we're nowhere near. When Dyson scored like yourself, Steve, I thought, right, okay, maybe we could start to see a wee change here, but slowly and surely, mate, you started to see the players out of position and everybody just kind of all over the place. I kind of looked at my notes here, Steve, and like early doors, Rio Hatate was sitting in the centre half. When you had Trusty busting out in the right hand side, you'd Ralston in the middle of the park and stuff. I was like, what is going on here? Like, who is supposed to be where? Who's supposed to be doing what? And I don't think the players understand that either. And if that's what this new manager's brought in, then get him out. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Well, listen, as we always say, we just say it always because it's just part of the routine now. Welcome back. If you are watching live, we're nearly 100 now. Get the comments in. Keep it clean, of course. Let us know what your thoughts are. I'll ask you a couple of questions. Simply put, do you want us to continually give Wilfred Nancy a chance? Yes or no? And on that, have you seen enough or is it still too early? Let us know. We'll get in your thoughts. We'll bring them up. But welcome back to the channel. Thank you again to Dan. If you've got that membership, you're very lucky. And if you want one of those memberships, it's completely optional, as we always say. Costs you nothing for our content on here. Hit the subscribe button. Keep in the loop. Keep notified. If you like what you've seen here, get the big fat thumbs up. Share it. All the social medias are below. But if you want to help out the channel, you can. It is a wee donation to the channel. And thank you very much for Dan, who is one of our members. And he's gifted one out to you. So in times of badness and darkness, there comes the positive that you can now say that you're a Celtic World Order podcast member. All silver linings and that. But let's get down to business, Paddy. It's not often that we are lost for words on here or where to start in asking that question, right?
Yeah.
So let's start from the very beginning. Keep your thoughts coming through. I will be bringing them up. Let's start from the very, very beginning. And the lineup, it went out there. We got it. And I read it out on here and I went, do you know what? I actually quite like that. So Schmeichel, oh, wrong one. That's for the last game. My bad. There's that many in here. There we go. Schmeichel, Trusty, Yang, McCown, Kenny, Bernardo, Maeda, Hatate, McGregor, Ralston, Tierney. Now, what I did like is I liked the McCown edition, I liked the Bernardo edition, and by and large, if I'm being honest, prior to them coming off, I thought it worked. I thought that it was what we needed. It was a bit of grit. It was a wee bit of fight in the middle of the park. They were certainly picking passes better than I thought we had been getting for the Hatate, Engels, and even Nygren combinations that we've seen. I thought, right, okay, he's obviously seen something here. He's seen deficiencies, and that's why he's done it. Now, I'm just going to get it out here because it is what it is. He was asked about the changes, and he went, tired. They're tired. That's why. So it wasn't because he looked at the performances before and went, this isn't working. He went, poor Engels is tired, by the way. We need to drop him out of the team because he's tired. They've played so much football. I need to rotate and I need to have a look at it. Okay, as I say, I'm not going to criticise because it worked in that first half, but Paddy tired, come on. This is coming back to the stuff, again, I will say it, that we slagged the baddies off about the sports scientist, such and such can't play because he's tired.
I know, mate. It's ridiculous. I think I froze up there. Sorry, it's absolutely ridiculous, mate. It's professional football. So if you can't play 2 games in a week, there's something wrong there. These guys have been out there. I don't know why they're tired. They've not done anything. It's just an absolute joke. I was the same as yourself, Steve. We've seen guys like Bernardo getting a chance in there. I thought, right, excellent. McCowan, brilliant. Even looked towards the bench, Steve, and I thought, wow, Simpson Pusey's in there. Shin's in there.
I saw it, yes. Aye, the lesser
so we were going to see a wee bit of change there. Hopefully we could see something special. But again, mate, come on. Like, there was just... The players are at fault, yes, I understand that. But for me, the main problem here is the manager's formation, is what the manager's asking these players to do. The players are all over the park. They don't understand their roles. And that's now 4 games that he's been in charge. And he hasn't changed his way, basically. He's came in with his ideas and his way of playing football, and he will not take on board what needs to happen here. You heard the fans singing Martin Neal's name at the end of the game there as well, and
I know,
listen, that to me tells you all you need to know.
Yes. I mean, right, so let's start off, before we start getting in, because let's be honest, it will become full criticism mode. It will be back to this. The questions that you and I and Stephen sat and said, we're asking the other night, and we're sharing with the viewers out there, which is we're nearly at 200. Love it. Hit that like button. Remember, subscribe if you're there. Support the channel. Get your thoughts up. Getting a lot of general comments to understand our ways want to talk. Let us know your exact thoughts. Let us know specifically what you thought went wrong. Let's try and get a wee bit of positivity if that's possible. Was there anything that you saw there that you thought was positive? So let's have a wee start, Paddy, right? Because as you say, as we sit and watch these games, and we've always got one eye on it, and I think my view on trying to take notes and write things down was a wee bit sort of sidetracked, because I mean, so banned for 3 games that I was really just wanting to try and dial in and watch it. But nonetheless, I did start writing some stuff down. And again, what I will say is very positive start. The one thing that I said when I came on and done the wee pre-show, the one thing I said the other night with you guys was I wanted something tangible, something that I could see with my eyes, where you could say the quote of, do you know what? I can see what he's trying to do there. I like it. Or it'll come good. Or any sort of take on that. That's what we needed. I would be a boy-faced liar if I turned around and says to you that in that first half, I was unable to see what we were trying to do, because I did see it. So I will give credit where it is due. As scant as that is, as little as that goes for in the fullness of the game and the result, I thought we started very, very well, Paddy. Surprisingly well. And dare I say it, because again, it's just throwing a phrase out there, it means nothing. It looked similar to what you'd saw in those wee bits of VT, the good bits of Columbus Crew, and it looked a wee bit like Ange ball. It was fast, it was direct, there was a lot of purchase. Down the wing in particular, down the left-hand side, Maeda looked like he was right up for it. You know, first 7 minutes, Celtic should arguably be 2-0 up, mate. Maybe 3 if things go right. Now, you can't account for shit finishing. I am looking at you, Yang, at the back post, sliding in. No, I am not in the Yang gang. But again, fast, very Angish, quick ball in behind, rifled across at pace. He maybe is a wee bit unlucky. He's sliding into it, right? But then you've got to look at the chances that fall to Kenny. One, he can't get on the end of it. He kind of makes an arse off it. And the other one that he's, he forces the goalkeeper into a save, right? Maybe that's to do with he's not played a lot of football. Maybe it's to do with, as we say, that's what you get from a guy of that quality. Yes, we've seen some good stuff, like you scoring against Rangers and that wee very short 2-game run where you went, good on you, mate, good on you. Yeah. Maybe that is what it is. But God, you need to take those chances. And saying, and I'm sure the manager, Bob, we're waiting on that to come through, saying we had all the chances and look at the first half and we could have won, that's not a trophy. You don't put that first 45 minutes in the cabinet, mate.
Nah, exactly, mate. Listen, I was the same. I'm just going to glance at my notes there as you're talking. And obviously I got the part there with the early cross with Dyson. I thought that was where we were capitalising straight away. We'd obviously highlighted their right back position and pumped the ball over the top of him. And Dyson had him on toast every single time he was going by him. And we looked like we were going to cause absolute mayhem. Dyson's ball across the box. I think Yang's got to do better. I really do. Then obviously Dyson in behind again, and he puts it across for Johnny Kenny, who again fluffed his lines, and I thought he was really, really poor the day. We need to be putting these chances away, Steve. Well, these are chances that it's all fine and well making these chances and doing everything down the wings, which again, I know you say that we kind of highlighted the wings, but I thought it became too predictable. The first half, it was, yep, that's fine, get the ball to the wings, but then the second half, United had obviously highlighted it and went, right, wait a minute, this is what they're doing. They're getting the balls to the wing, they're going to try and get in behind us, they're going to try and do this, and they capitalised on that, and they basically stopped us from doing that, and it showed exactly that we were just a one-trick pony, because you've seen the difference between stats in the first half and stats in the second half. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely horrible, mate. And listen, Hatate again, the ball into was it Kenny, and the keeper makes a decent enough save, but it was just poor, mate. Yeah. Poor finishing, poor performances, and just players not knowing where they need to be was just.
I think, Paddy, the biggest disappointment for me in that early phase is, listen, I'm going to be honest here. As I say, I've got to give it praise. Now, this isn't me suddenly flipping and changing and going, see, because I said I wanted to see what we were trying to do, and I saw it, that makes it all right, because seeing the next game, we'll do it again. No. I posted, I get tagged by one of our subscribers on an X post that sort of midway through the game, and he says, you know, thought the game was looking mid, and I says, well, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was very positive first half, should have been out of sight, really good, but it'll count for nothing if you can't go into the second half and deliver and carry on and get the result. So that's essentially where I am at with it. It's all right having these wee flashes, as I laughed about with the viewers on the sort of pre-show when he turned around and he said in his interview, well, I think you've already seen glimpses of what I've done. He cited the first half against Hearts. He thought the first half against St Mirren was brilliant, actually, and he thought the second against Roma was good. And I'm thinking, fuck me, is that what we've came to? Now, I'm sure when it comes up, we're still trying to refresh and try to get the quote from as and when it comes in. I am sure he will point to the numerous chances that we had in that first half. He'll talk to about the 80% possession that we had around the 40-odd minute mark. He will talk about the amount of chances, the amount of times we got on behind, and that is all fine and fair well. But then go and explain why you fall off the edge of the cliff in the second half. This is the problem, and it's indicative of what's happened to us this season. What was our biggest problem before we chucked Brendan Rodgers? The 45-minute syndrome, mate. We never put two full performances in the first and the second half. We didn't bury teams. We didn't take those chances, and it came back and bit us in the arse, which it did in the second half of here, because every single time, I know we'll still talk about the rest of the first half, but every single time that second half, Paddy, that it got launched into our box, it was sixes and sevens. It was an accident waiting to happen, and you can't even be surprised at how that game unfolded in the end, mate.
No, not at all, mate. Like I said, we became predictable, and that for me was the main thing. You're sitting there watching it, and it was just, I don't know, mate. Like you said, there was a few positives in the first half. We looked okay going forward, but for me, it was seeing players totally out of position that I just couldn't get my head around. I'm sitting watching it, and I'm going, right, why are you there? What is going on? Do you know what I mean? Like, Austin Trusty was just swanning it in the middle of the park, and then as he done that, you had Callum McGregor just floating in, and then he was your centre half, and then if he got the ball, he would float away, and then Hatate was drifting in and covering, and there just seemed to be no positional sense whatsoever. And it just, for me, mate, was just a wee bit all over the place, and I could see it coming. Like, obviously, when we got the goal, I thought, right, okay, we can maybe kick on for here, we can maybe do a wee bit, but it just got to that stage where you knew it was coming, mate. It's just, I called it after the Hearts game, what I thought of this manager, and I got a lot of stick for it. I again backed it up after the Roma game, and I stood there and I said, listen, I'm not happy, but I was right. I think the guy's an absolute loser. And then he's done it against St Mirren, and he's done it again tonight. It's just absolutely. It's not what Celtic need, mate. He's not the man for the job, and I think that's been proven again. And you heard the fans singing at the end of the game there as well, saying that.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
And that's the thing. So just to skim through the first half, see, I'll be honest. See when the goal goes in, right? It's the third time, fourth time that we get real success with that quick ball in, and that is again to try and look at it again, to try and at least take a minute, and it is a minute, and it's not going to change what I'm going to say after we discuss the first half. I like bits of it, but bits of it is not going to do anything. Bits of it isn't justification for his suitability to be questioned. Bits of it isn't going to win you over the nearly 300 folk that are going off their nut in the comments watching live right now, and everybody else out there. And equally, as I say, as we've been criticised, you've been criticised for going too early. I've tried to look at it more objectively with my posts. I've been criticised. We're no real fans. We do want to get behind the manager. I would have loved that first half to turn into a second half and to come on here and go, do you know what? That was 2-0, but by God, it should have been 6. See when the goals start to fly and you will see what's happening. But it's the nature of which we get down. There is no fight, and it's just something so simple as a second half analysis from Jim Goodwin. These guys will be scared of you. Get in about them, get close, make it physical, take advantage of the set pieces, and they will shake. Is it really that easy to undo Celtic, Paddy?
At the minute, yes, it is, mate. It's an absolute joke. This 3 at the back thing isn't going to work because, one, we don't have the players to be able to do it. I seen in the comments earlier on as well, somebody saying, CCV's well missed. CCV wouldn't do well in that back 3. I tell you why he would do well in that back 3, because the other 2 people beside him are going to be Trusty and Tierney or Ralston even. And listen, mate, I don't care who you are. If you've got these guys backing you up and you've got Casper behind you, who, again, I think is at fault for the second goal. I don't know why he's reaching out his top hand. For me, it was just an absolute weak attempt to go for the ball. I'm just tired of it already, mate. This formation. We were calling for a change in formation. We were calling for something different. And listen, this isn't the answer. Where I'm going to get absolutely smashed next week off Aberdeen. And then going forward, mate, I don't feel confident playing against anybody, basically.
What I want to know is where did it go wrong, apart from the obvious? I'm talking about the drop-off in performances. Now, the goal comes at 13 minutes, right? As I say, Celtic's probably at least 2-0 up, by the way, by the time that goal comes, right? Easily should be at least 2-0 up. Yeah, that's not even being, speaking in hyperbole. That's facto that Celtic should be out of sight. The game should be dusted. You probably don't even get that fight back for Dundee United. They're probably completely and utterly disillusioned. But at 1-0, it's always precarious. Now, the goal's fantastic. Let's not kid ourselves here, right? It's another good couple of quick one-touch passes. It's sharp, it's dynamic, it gets in behind. And as I say, where the fuck's that guy that scored the goal, by the way? Because we should maybe play him more often. And it's a brilliant finish with Maeda. And it's strange because Maeda looked like a guy, and you probably can argue that after the goal he looked like a guy that checked out, right? But he's a guy who really looked like he'd checked out. He was in a state of flux. And then I saw an article the other day, I don't know how much I genuinely believe it, but that he'd almost done a complete and utter turnaround and wants to stay at Celtic at least until the summer. Maybe that's probably because he's realised that he's playing crap and he's not going to get a particularly good move. He's maybe thinking about, right, just ride this through, stay stable, stay in the squad, World Cup coming up, and but that's fine if he wants to do that, as long as he puts in the performances. The goal's brilliant, mate. It's a nice burst. Takes the ball, sends the defender one way, and then rifles it. Easily the best thing that Daizen Maeda has done in a long time. And see when it goes in there, I'm like, here we go. This is it. We are going to kick on. We are going to go, and we're going to absolutely roll them over. And then again, we've talked about missed chances pretty much before the end of the first half. Johnny Kenny comes again. Another brilliant chance. Johnny boy, you've had 3 chances. You should be scoring 2 of them, mate. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, one of them I think the keeper makes a good save, mate, but the other 2, he's your striker, it's your bread and butter. I think Johnny Kenny for me lacked I don't know whether it's confidence or ability. I'll leave that up to you to decide. Like you say with Tannadice, well, that was the Tannadice of old. Not old when we got him and he used to probably kick that into Rose Head. The one where
somebody scored with a burnt with a Bovril.
I know. The one where he kind of got better and started finishing. And yeah, listen, it was a fantastic finish. And I was the same as yourself, Steve. I thought, right, here we go. This is it. We've got a bit of momentum now. We've got the goal. And obviously sit beside, like I says, one of the lads on here, Dundee United fan, he said, oh, that's it. It's capitulation time for us. The floodgates are open. It's going to be 4 or 5. And I thought, well, do you know what? I hope it is, mate. I says, because by God, this manager needs it. I says, and I called it the other night when I was sitting here. I said, a 2-1 win, a 3-1 win, something like that isn't good enough for this manager. He needs a big win in order to try and get these Celtic fans back on his side. And
so, Paddy, just to jump in here, we've got a quote. It's obviously not a full interview, but we have a quote from Wilfred Nancy. Now, here's what he says. We lost the game in 3 minutes, 2 set pieces that we conceded. Maybe the second one was offside before the corner. I will give you that, but it doesn't matter. You play the whistle and you play the game that's as it runs in front of you. Being offside and him getting a corner doesn't excuse the state of the nature of how we try to deal with a corner. So just scrap that, mate. All right.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job. I think we had a good performance with all the opportunities we had in the first half. As I said, he's going to lean on that. And you might say, well, he's every right to, because it was a pretty damn good first half. Let's be honest here, right? Shit finishing, good half, loads of positives. You expect that to continue. So I expect him to say that. And it's probably the only time, I would say, since he's been in the door, that he's been justified to actually claim something was good. He then says, if we score 2 or 3 tap-ins we had, it would be a different score. No shit, mate. State of the obvious. Goals, result, and wins.
Yeah. But all he keeps...
Mind-blowing stuff, Paddy. Mind-blowing stuff. Score those goals, mate, and we would have won that.
Listen, Dan the man's got it perfect, and it's right there, mate. Performance. That is all we get out of this manager. It's all about performance. Listen, mate, it's not about the performance. It's about goals. It's about scoring goals, winning games, getting us to the top of the league, where we belong, where we would be if we didn't bring you in. Do you know what I mean? The guy doesn't have a clue, mate. He's egotistical. He's arrogant. He's so up his own hoop. It's unbelievable. Honestly, I am done. Honestly, man, I really do not know what this guy's got, what he believes in. I don't know who's been telling him that he's the best manager since fucking Jock Stein.
Paddy, the feeling's mutual here, as I say. If there is any people who are not on the he's useless, get him out, Margaret, sack him now, let us know. It's not for ridicule. I'm genuinely want to try and get a real cross section. We've got 300 of these watching here. There's surely got to be somebody out there that's got a different spin on it and just says all opinions are welcome here. We want to try and get that in here. Let's get into that second half, Paddy, right? So, again, let's do a wee bit of screen sharing, good old screen sharing of the game there and get up some of the details right now. Again, for what it's worth, there was a damning start that came up midway through that game.
Yeah,
pretty late on, and it said that Celtic's last shot on target was 13 minutes, which was funny enough the one that went into the net. So it's fine, but the drop off in that second half, Paddy, was unreal. Like, I don't even know what happened there. Now, for the benefit, if you're interested, again, who cares the performance? But as we always do, the information's available. So that's how we look at it. I mean, it's total domination. This is probably, I would say, roughly the first half that you're accounting for in the overall time of the game percentage, right? It's pretty much dependent, heavily leaning on the first half with spells like the absolute desperation last 15 minutes where Celtic get a lot of the ball and Dundee United knew all they had to do was sit in, be compact, be stuffy. We weren't doing it. We were just chucking shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. Look at that for an attacking team, Paddy. Dundee United have more touches inside our box. Our goalkeeper has to make more saves and there's more aerial duels won, which means they are causing total chaos in our box. It paints a massive picture, Paddy.
Yeah. Somebody's want to show that
Absolutely
picture
huge.
to Wilfred Nonce, mate. They want to show him that and actually explain to him that it's unacceptable. Yeah, you can have all the ball, but whether you have it in the middle of the park or in your own half, it doesn't matter. You need to be doing something with the ball. And like you say, Steve, well, that started to come up saying that we hadn't touched the ball in their half since the 13th minute. That was like half an hour into the second half, mate. And it's just simply not good enough. I don't care who you're playing, Dundee United, a team that have won 1-11 or something ridiculous like that. Like their record's very, very poor. Do you know what I mean? It's extremely upsetting.
Paddy, Michael makes a great point here. What was Celtic's second half team talk? Celtic go in there absolutely dominant, cruising. Well, I say cruising. It could have been cruising the score, but they go in looking pretty damn good, looking all right. What is said or not said in that halftime team talk that makes you just go? I mean, how does that even happen, Paddy? Please try and make sense of it for me, because I can't get my wee head around it, mate. Struggling
Michael's spot on. Listen, I'd love to have been a fly in the wall, mate, in there and actually hear what he's said to the players. I don't know how bad a manager you need to be to demotivate a team at half-time, a team that are winning. But I think he managed to do that. Obviously, listen, you've got to give Goodwin a wee bit of credit there, because he's went in there and you've nailed it, mate. He's gave her a better team talk, and he's obviously been able to highlight where we were going to get caught out, where we were poor, and that was simply what we were doing to Dundee United. Was putting the ball over the top, getting in behind because we were playing such a high line, because there was players there that didn't know what positions they were supposed to be in. And I just feel like, mate, he's either tried to be arrogant and change things again completely. I think it comes down to the overcoaching thing that we spoke about before, and I think he's trying to do far too much. Football for me is a simple game. Martin O'Neill simplified it when he came in. Sean Maloney was doing all the stuff behind the scenes. Martin O'Neill was dealing with the players and making them feel 10 foot tall. Now, I bet you there's not one player in that dressing room at the minute that feels 10 foot tall. And listen, we're all hurting together. I know that. I understand we are all feeling this pain, but how long do we give this guy? I said before, after the Hearts game, I had already seen enough. Have you seen enough now? Honestly, let me know. You're on mute now, Steve.
No, you did, Paddy. So, look, let's get back into where it starts to really fall off a cliff. We go from a really positive first half. Again, got to say that because it's true. That's not me trying to soften the blow. It actually makes it worse that the first half was as it was. It's all Dundee United. It's like we've forgot the game plan from the second half kicks off. Complete and utterly like out of position. We go from looking quite sharp, looking quite agile. You know, we weren't flying into tackles and being particularly aggressive or anything, but we were always agile. We were nipping in, we were winning the ball, we were passing it, we were moving it, we were keeping away from the Dundee United. It's as if that all just went and fell out our head. Yeah. Where it was like, right, okay, you can have the ball now. We'll chase you a wee bit. We'll never actually put you under pressure. You'll never lose it. You'll get out-muscled. You get out-fought. And I don't know if they thought we're too good for them. I really don't know, because I can't put my finger on it. But as we see, the Dundee United are chatting on the door. And see, I'm told the goal at 1 each just before the 60-minute mark, right? It's coming. You feel like it's coming. Kasper Schmeichel makes a brilliant save again. Probably the only good thing that he does in the game, right? Because once again, distribution's absolute pedigree chum, total dog meat, right? Embarrassing once again, and he looks like a spent force. But as a great save, down to centre, proper. It's all United up until that point, and then of course, as it comes, what happens, Paddy? It's a cross into the box. Celtic are all just looking at each other, and like we've seen before, it drops right in front of them. They're all looking at it going, there's the ball. The ball's the ball, ping pong, to quote our manager, and the shot goes off, and it's 1 each. And you saw it happening, and then we wind the clock back, and what happens almost after it? All right, it goes out for a corner. It probably is offside, but that's irrelevant. I'm not even going to say it because it's just a lot of crap. where they're talking about reviewing VAR for those kind of things. But no, that's not what we've got at this moment in time. What happens again, Paddy? A simple ball's in the box. We're all like, can't he get the ball? Ball falls down, and it is a good strike. Let's not kid on, it's a good strike. But forget the strike. It's the way the ball works its way out to him, mate.
Yeah, Casper goes out with that.
3 minutes, right, Paddy, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, Celtic are undone. 3 minutes, and the exact same thing twice. They don't learn for the first one. In fact, they don't even learn for the other 3 games where they've been absolutely red raw at set pieces. Now, again, talking about what are we doing on the training ground, Celtic have always been shit for set pieces, and you looked and you saw the start up there. Dundee United, I think, are only second to Hearts, right, for the amount of goals scored for set pieces in this league. Third are Rangers, surprise, surprise. I wonder where Celtic are. Got to be right down the bottom, right? We've got this guy that wants to be progressive, wants to come up with new ideas. You try to tell me that part of his modern thinking isn't to fucking work on set pieces, either taking or defending.
Yeah. No, listen, mate, it's ridiculous. And listen, Brian Murray's in the chat there as well, and seen that he made a few comments about the team. And I totally agree, there's a lot of players in there that have been passengers. And you see that when should Salo get a chance, mate? We've been screaming for that since the Aberdeen Cup final. For Salo to actually get an opportunity to come in here and actually do something. Same with guys in the midfield, mate. We'd say that it changes in there. We know the players have got a lot to blame. The players have got to shoulder a lot of this blame as well. But for me, the capitulation in this squad, the way that this has all just went tits up, has happened as this new manager has come in. And for me, he's tried to do too much too soon. He's tried to basically come in and reinvent the wheel, and it hasn't worked. And that's the thing for me. He has to admit when he's wrong. He said in his interviews it's all about performance.
So Paddy, can I just throw something at you? Can I just throw something at you? Because again, we're always in fairness, and we always say we're not here to tell you we're right and that you're wrong and what to think and vice versa. So Brian's saying we're going round in circles here. The points of squad's not good enough, right? That I think anybody can see that.
Yeah.
But the point here is that we've had 2 managers. Yes, it was diminishing returns, and that's why we get rid of Brendan Rodgers. But we've had 2 managers who have still been capable of getting wins out of these teams at periods that they've been in situ. Yeah. Martin O'Neill, St. Martin, was the performances great? No, it wasn't. But the point still remains. You can still have shit players and do a job. And in fact, as I said on my pre-show, Goodwin, Robinson, any other probably manager in the league, right? I'm not saying go and get them, but don't take that out of context. They probably go, that's just fucking a lot better than I'm used to. And they'd probably be able to get results out of them. So yes, the squad is dog shit. It is. We're not even going to debate that fact. Yeah. But we also can't just keep saying it's just the players' fault, because we've seen the players are capable of getting something. Is that fair, Paddy?
Yeah, listen, of course it is. You listen to, I'll go back to Brendan Rodgers interviews and stuff, and when people were saying to Brendan about poor results and stuff, Brendan would say, listen, it always falls on the manager. And it does, but the manager's got to get the best out of those players. He's got to pick the best team that he sees to go out there and perform against, listen lads, Dundee United, a team that have really been struggling against this. Another side that have played well, yes, their 2 strikers are absolutely on fire at the minute. Yes, we lost that one. Roma, again, wasn't really fussed with that one. I thought we would maybe get something, but nah. And then the Hearts game, mate, 4 games in a row, these players have been absolute garbage. And like you said, Steve, Martin O'Neill made the players feel 10 foot tall. He really did. He knew how to manage these players. He knew what to do, and they were picking the right formations. We were going out there, and yes, we might have scraped some of the wins, but we got wins. We got games over the line. And under this management, I cannot see us getting any result.
And Paddy, listen, again, for the purposes of balance, I agree with all these things that people are saying.
I agree with them as well.
And the thing is, as I says, and if you've been a regular viewer, you'll be able to testify to this. We've been like chalk and cheese here, Paddy. I've been the very much he should get time. That's what should happen. It's the kind of decent thing that needs to happen. He needs his own players. He's trying to do something different. I concede that he should probably look to just do damage control and go down the mantra of anyone will do by any means until he gets that. So, yes, the players, you could go and empty that dressing room. There are so many guys who are underperforming, who are stealing a wage, that are absolute charlatans. That is, again, not up for debate. But we're just talking about there has to be a shoulder of blame on both. He doesn't stop Johnny Kenny being absolute dog shit at finishing. He doesn't. I totally get that. He doesn't make those guys crap at football. He doesn't make them fall off the edge of a cliff performance-wise in that second half. But when things are going wrong, that's when he needs to make the appropriate choices and shift it. That's where, again, I've always went down the objective route where I says, I want this man to succeed. I said, after the first game reaction, after the second game reaction, as much as I was unhappy, I went, I've never wanted a guy to succeed so much as I want to see Wilfred Nancy succeed, because he's had such an absolute tragic start, and everybody, including the media, and I'll be honest, even guys like ourselves at times, and general fans out there, and everybody that can take a shot is wanting to take a shot at him. So you want to see, particularly your own, overcome that. But at the same time, it would be remiss of us as a fan content creation, a podcast, or whatever you want to call us, to not look at things objectively and be honest. We've criticised blind support of the board, blind support of, fans, for example, if they do stuff wrong. Let's look at the facts and look at what's presented in front of you. Judge based on what you see at that time, and if things change a wee bit, if things improve or things are proven to be elsewhere, then you recalibrate and you can form your opinion. That's all we're doing here. We know that this squad is garbage, but we can't avoid the fact that, and I'm not saying that Martin O'Neill would have went on this tear, I'm not saying it, but you can't deny that he at least found a way. And again, I will use Rangers as an example. Rangers now 3 points behind us, right? And they play Hearts at the weekend, and they've got a manager who, much like Wilfred Nancy, has this great idea and a way that he wants to play. Right, and he knows that. However, he's came in, like Wilfred Nancy, at a point mid-season when things are going to shit. They've just sacked a manager. They've got a squad that's bang average. The fans are baying for the blood of the board. The fans are baying for the blood of the manager, and they actually don't want him as he comes in the door, much like Wilfred Nancy. See the parallels here? Yeah. And he turns around and he says, I've got a way that I want to play. I want performances. He says all the Wilfred Nancy stuff, and then he goes, however, at this moment in time, my only priority is to win games of football. And then, when I'm able to change it and work on it, we'll go and we'll visit that and we'll change things up. Yeah. That is what I'm not saying. I want Danny Rose, my manager. I'm saying I want somebody with Danny Rose mindset that goes, see, right now before January, squad shite, I'm fucked. But let's try and find a way, not to come in and just go, do you know what? This is how I want to do it. And you'll see good wee bits here. And hopefully it'll win. Because listen, be honest with yourself right now. At the time, at 10 to 11, after that on a Wednesday night, do you accept that happening again on Sunday? Do you just turn and go, oh, well, I mean, we've got to give the guy a chance. 2 games. Do you accept it if we then lose the next game or draw the next game? How far do you allow this to go without at least calling it out and saying, no, you need to find a way. He's got nothing to prove to anybody. Hear me clearly. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you right now, you need to start finding a way to win. Hear me clearly.
Yes, mate. Listen, we said it before, and I think it's arrogance. And you compare him to Danny Rose, mate. You want to do the comparison there, right? You look at Danny Rose's first game in charge was against Brann. It was a 3-0 defeat or something, was that, away from home in Bergen. And he walked straight over to the fans and he stood with the away fans and he spoke to them, and I don't know what he said, but it'll be something along the lines of, listen, there's a process in place, we'll all get it sorted, blah, 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 right, whatever. Wilfred Nancy against Hearts, mate. What did he do? Did he walk round, did he clap the fans? Did he walk round and cuddle his players or anything like that? No. He bolted up the dugout faster than Russell Martin ever did, may I add, alright? And that for me just showed what this manager's got, mate, and it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's arrogant. He's so up his own arse, it's unbelievable. He's sitting there and he's got his formation that he likes to play. He's got his way of playing football. And he's come in and he's trying to pass it on to these players, mate, and it's not working. You've seen it after the Hearts game. You've seen it after the Roma game. Evan Ferguson highlighted it in the Roma game. He turned out and said, "Oh, we were just watching the players that didn't know what they were doing." If a footballer's actually telling you on live TV that people are watching that and they know what you're doing, fucking act on it. Do you know what I mean? Again against St Mirren, and then again tonight. I'm not looking forward to Sunday, mate. I'm really not.
I think the comment that we've just brought up there for Danny on YouTube is actually logical. Understand the groundswell. Listen, I understand the groundswell, but if we've learned anything, as I say, a point to how long it took performances to drop under Brendan Rodgers. And bear in mind as well, Brendan Rodgers was taking shots at the board in the club, like openly taking shots, going on the offensive, asking to be sacked, and he didn't do it. They held off. They allowed Neil Lennon to go 8 games without a win during the COVID season and didn't do it. This isn't a board who do that. So I think that tonight will be a wake-up call because they're sitting in there and they heard it. And listen, I'll be honest with you, see the whole Nancy get the fuck thing, I understand the sentiment, I really do. Do I like it? Honestly, no, I don't. I really don't. I don't like it. I don't want anybody to have to suffer that. But I understand the sentiment, and that board are going to get it. But the reason I'm saying this as well, Sunday could be a tipping point. I think tonight is just seen as a bump in the road, because remember what he said in his press conference, that him and the board understood that there could be, these kind of situation could unfold. So I read that as they understood that, as he likes to say, and again, I quote Russell Martin say that sometimes you need to suffer a wee bit. There's a wee bit of pain before it gets good. So if they've agreed on that, you better believe that they're not going to, unless some divine intervention is, the mustachio man sits and just chokes on his cognac and goes, he needs to go. That's the only way you're going to suddenly get rid of him. But also as well, the Michael Nicholson interview where he backed Nancy and also says that they were discussing the next 2 transfer windows. So if you think that tonight is going to be enough to get him flicked out the window, no, unfortunately not. Strap yourselves in, boys and girls, because this is going to Sunday. Let's see how that one pans out. But it's going to take more. It is as ridiculous as that sounds. It's going to take more than 4 humblings, because that's what it was. Humblings. And there's a lot of averageness in there that have done the humbling. Including Dundee United, who I think hadn't won a game since, I believe they said something like Nadir Chiefji scored against Celtic. You go and wind back how long ago that was.
I know.
Celtic have just set another record tonight for Dundee United, mate. I don't think anything's going to change in any time soon. And does that change your thoughts on that, Paddy? I know you think he should go right now, but do you get where I'm going with this?
I do, mate. Listen, I'm in the same camp as you. I want him to do well, because at the end of the day, he's a Celtic manager. And that's what we want. We want a manager to do well. But he's conceding 2 goals every game. And at least 2 goals every game with this formation. And he just needs to fucking sort it out, because it's not good enough, mate. It's really not good enough for this level. And I really don't know, mate. Going forward for me, I don't think we'll change it. I don't think Michael Nicholson's going to sack him, even if he loses against Aberdeen, even if he loses the following week again. I can't see him changing it.
As I say, this is literally the only thing that I think expedites this, is this man, the megalomaniac, he hates getting embarrassed. So see if all his pals are in the golf club over in Ireland and these big plush golf course that he goes to, or whatever it is, are all sitting scoffing at him, going, "No, I'll let you stay here." Nah, he might do it, right? So if you know what golf club he goes to, go and send a message and tell everybody to slag him off if that's what you want, because that's probably the only way it's going to happen.
I can join it myself and go and have a dig at him. Listen, mate, I don't see. We know what this board's like, Steve-O, right? Listen, we'll talk about it as well. Peter Lawwell stepping down, brilliant, right? I'm glad he stepped down. I'm not glad that he's had to step down because.
And sorry, see for the things like this slightly annoy me. I don't normally get annoyed, but folk don't listen. Open your ears. I turn round and says they might look at it as being, oh, it's just a bump in the road. That's not my words. That's me speaking for someone else, i.e. the people who won't act. It's no bump in the road, mate. It's a car crash. Car's into a wall.
Aye. The Honda Civics went half road.
Honda Civics went half road. It get bad load suspension. It spun off.
Aye. What I was speaking to my wife about it, mate, and I had said to her, like, if the board do intervene and they come in and they change things now, it makes them look a wee bit better if they bring in a better manager and we start to see results. And people would take the kind of heat off them a little bit. I felt if something like that had to happen. Do you know what I mean? Oh, look, guys, we listened to you, we sacked him, that's him, he's out, we're bringing in, I don't know, Nicky Hayen. There you go, let's see how we do here. Do you know what I mean? Something like that, Steve, I thought would be a good, easy win for members of the board. Now, obviously, like we said earlier, Peter Lawwell stepped down, and obviously, I'm happy that he's gone, but I'm not happy about the statement and stuff, obviously saying that it's been threats to his family, whatever. I don't agree with that. I hope none of that's been through, but like, there will be some stuff in there that's obviously been said or whatever else.
So here's a point. I'm bringing this up because I'm bringing this up again, and as I say, I know that it's a post-mortem, we're picking the bones here, but as I said, unfortunately, and it makes no difference whatsoever. It doesn't make it acceptable. It doesn't put a shine on it. Doesn't make him should be suddenly given more time.
Yeah,
you know, it shouldn't change your mind, right? If you've decided that you can't see a way back, 45 minutes a game shouldn't change your mind. But I brought this up because this makes a really good point, right? I've mentioned Amarin. He's very like Amarin, right? Now I know we live in completely parallel universes. You know, like the Premier League is like outer space, and we're in the depth somewhere in the mud, right? But Amarin, who plays the same system and likes to be bored and all that, he's been at Man United for 18 months, right? With, to begin with, a far superior squad to anything that Celtic could dream of. And he spent nearly £500 million to try and suddenly get Man United into 7th playing that system. So what makes him personally think is mediocre as the Scottish League is, and as better as the squad are, despite them being crap, better are than the rest, that he suddenly thinks that he's going to come in with some of the type that we've got, and in, 3 days, because that was when he put it the first time around, or in this case, what are we? Are we nearly 10 days, 12 days, something like that? Suddenly getting him playing all fire on all cylinders and doing it. If a guy with a far superior track record and a far superior team and far superior resources took 18 months to try and get it to work, what makes him think, Paddy, that it's suddenly going to work inside 2 weeks at Celtic?
Arrogance. That's the only word I can go for, Steve. It's the only word I can put to why he's came in and changed the winning formula. We were playing well, we were doing okay, we were getting results. Yes, we weren't swashbuckling, we weren't battering teams and whatever, but we were getting the games across the line. The players were performing. And he's came in, changed everything in 3 days, and basically blew the arse out of this squad, mate. It's absolutely, I don't know, getting ridiculed off of Dundee United fans, mate. What's that all about? Do you know what I mean? I'm alright getting slagged off of Rangers fans when they're sitting above us, or Hearts fans or whatever, but now I'm getting slagged off of Dundee United fans. Now, do you know what I mean? And the Aberdeen fans are ripping into me because they've got to play us as well. If we get beat off Aberdeen, mate, I'm in the middle of an off-sea full of them.
Well, Paddy, I hate to break this to you, but we play Aberdeen, as you well know, right? As it stands, I'm just using Rangers as the reference point because they're right behind us, right?
Yeah.
16 games apiece. Rangers get 29 points, with 3 points behind us. And they play Hearts, who, I'll be honest with you, I know that Hearts beat them the last time, but going as we've seen, as we saw with Hibs, these teams that are normally quite good seem to just, don't know, mind block can't do it. They have a goal difference, Paddy. They're 3 goals behind Celtic.
Yeah.
And 3 points behind them. If I had said to you, a couple of months ago, that you'd get to this point and Rangers would be right up our backside and have a real chance of pegging even with us in second, and even by the end of the summer, winter this year, potentially pushing us down to third. You say it was a crackpot, wouldn't you?
No, mate, honestly, I told you to stay off of the glue. Of course, you would have anybody in their right mind would have. It just goes to show, mate, the absolute capitulation of this squad. It really, really does. We've just totally fucked it, in my opinion. Come the transfer window in January, mate, come the 3rd of January, I expect us to be sitting in 3rd. I really do. And that breaks my heart. That really, really does. 3rd at most, may I add. I just feel like just now we've not got anything. I don't care who we are playing in that league, mate. I do not have the confidence to turn around and say, yes, we will beat them. And that's not like me. Obviously, anybody that watches the podcast will know that I'm forever the optimist. I'll come out here and say, we'll squad everybody 4-0 every single week and whatever else. It's demoralising. It's just watching this team, mate. It's horrible. There's no player in there that you think, yeah, he's going to change the game, because the players don't understand what they're doing. They're being overcoached. They're doing far too much. I don't know what the deal is, mate, but it's not playing football the Celtic way. We need to get back to playing football the Celtic way and enjoying it.
So, Paddy, let's sort of wrap up the discussion around about the game. Listen, the numbers are wild. It's crazy how severe disappointment can bring folk together. There's nearly 650 alone on YouTube, so we really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you very much. There is a couple of infiltrators. They're swiftly getting removed, as you can see. So if you are a Celtic fan, if you are one of the good guys, and you want to say, if you want to ask us anything, get it up. Any questions, let's work through this misery together. But make sure you hit that subscribe buttons. It says we're really, really pushing for it, and the support is brilliant. And we happen to know that there's about 45% of you folk out there that watch this that don't subscribe, and it costs you nothing. So before you do anything, before you head off and we finish up, hit the subscribe, hit the like, and make it all happen. So, Paddy, yes, just in terms of the subs that come on, we get to that 65-minute point, which again, I can't believe I'm saying it. How pathetic does that sound? Credit where it's due, because you realise we're fucked and you make a heavy amount of changes. So take that as you find it, right? But the changes come on, and really, Shin Yamada coming on tells you just how desperate it is. It's a guy that comes out there, absolutely nothing out of nowhere. We throw everything at the wall and we hope that it's going to work. It doesn't quite pan out, no shit. Did you think Paddy, any of those substitutions lifted us in any way, shape or form, where you thought we might just even claw a draw?
James Forrest got about again, kind of running about doing what he was doing. Shin Yamada, I think, had a few chances.
What about that shot? What about that one where it bursts and he kind of outside of the fits it? I think you've got to hit the target there. Maybe snatches at that.
He's got an open space in front of him, Steve-O. If he takes a wee touch in front, he's standing on the 6-yard box with an open goal. And I think he just tries to put his foot through it. So he hit it with some power. I must admit, he absolutely melted it. But yeah, there wasn't much to come off the bench. Let's be honest. Like we pretty much looked at our first team and went, yeah, that's probably the strongest team. And the players that you were bringing off of the bench weakened the squad, in my opinion. I thought, I've seen loads of people in the chat there as well talking about the kind of midfield area and stuff. I thought Bernardo was good. I thought he had a decent enough game. I thought he got himself about. I thought he broke up the play. I thought he was one of the only midfielders that actually stayed in the midfield at some point as well. Again, McCowan, I thought was disappointing. His free kick.
Here's something I want to coming back to. This is something. Sorry, to jump in. This is something we're talking about the changes, and this is something I noticed again, right? And I want to get that. I spoke about this in the pre-show, right? As much as I again want to see the guys succeed, and I think for what I saw, I keep saying it, and I'll never get away for this. I'll never ever get away for this. I think a guy like Nancy could work if it was a summertime appointment. Start the summer, all those weeks, it could work, right? Not when he's having to troubleshoot, right? And he kind of admitted that in his press conference before, where, unprecedented times coming in, middle of season. Of course, I'd like time. I don't have time. And he said stuff like, there's certain guys that can't train all the time. We're having to do a lot of stuff with VT. We're having to watch videos to try and train. It's no ideal, right? So I get all that. But my point is, I think he might have worked if he got a full pre-season. He was a start of the season guy. But right now, got to hold my hands up and say, don't think it's going to be. But as much as I've got this idea that he's maybe got some ideas that could work in the perfect circumstances, this is the points that I'm making. Playing James Forrest is a left-sided centre midfield and Scales is a wing back. Ralston is the right-hand side, fucking a back three. Like, I seriously, I hate, excuse my French. Come on, fuck. Like, why is that, Paddy? Like, why even is that? Like,
I know.
This is a guy that's meant to be a qualified coach. I'm a fucking guy that's like played at a bang average level of football in my time and watches a lot of football, and I can fucking tell you that James Forrest isn't a central left-sided midfielder under any circumstances. At best, you can play him as a false nine if you're really desperate, or maybe as a fucking sort of off the striker, as we've seen previously in years gone by in Europe. If you're fucking desperate, he's no Rio Hatate, he's no Arne Engels, he's none of these things. Why are you fucking putting him there?
Yeah, I think Wilfred Nancy is very much schoolboy coaching, Steve. If you think back to how it used to be at schoolboy level, you didn't really have a position. You would just, if the ball was over there, everybody would run to the ball and go like that, and everybody was just stoating about. I feel like that's what's happening here, and that's why there were so many players out of position. Like I was saying in the chat there as well, Steve, Scales coming on in like the 70th minute when you're chasing a goal. What's the deal with that? Do you know what I mean? Yes, I get it. Kieran Tierney might have been getting a bit tired and whatever else, but at times like that, mate, you just need to knuckle down and actually go for it. That's at times like that you need to put on another attacking player and say, right, let's do something positive here. Let's try and go forward. If the 3-4-3 wasn't working, play I don't know 3-3-4 or whatever he was. I don't even know what his formation is. It's like Barry Ferguson trying to pick a formation when he was saying all the different numbers, 5-4-7 and a 6-4-2. Aye, do you know what I mean? You just kind of look at this, mate, and the boy doesn't have a fucking clue. Honestly, this guy's come in and he's got this mentality that basically only he believes what he's doing. You can tell now that the players don't believe it, and they're going to down tools as well, mate. If they already haven't, I don't know what your opinions are on that, but I don't think the players are going to play for the boy. I really don't. I think it's far too much.
There was one thing that I think, and again, you know, when you're listening to guys like fucking Crocker, you take it as you find it, right? Who cares? But Chris Sutton said something in an observation I saw it a lot. We've seen it a lot in all the games where he says he's calling over Cal McGregor again to try and give him instructions. Cal McGregor his head must be fucking burning, right? I have never seen any manager, I'm even talking your Dylas, you know, your Tony Mowbrays, your Barneses, file under all the shite of the day that has been there, right? Never, ever have I seen one manager lean so heavily on his captain where every fucking 5 or 10 minutes, so come here, to tell you son. And I get that he's maybe trying to get the guy to convey a message, but see if you don't bring somebody, you bring somebody over to tell him information, surely if you're changing something, and see if you feel the need to change that much or try and convey information that much during the game, it suggests to me that it's not working. You know, it should be the rare occasion where it's maybe a guy's getting a bit of purchase or he notices that a guy's drifting into a space and somebody will say, look, remind such and such, remind Scales, remind Trusty, the guy keeps getting his blind side. That's fine, you can make those observations, but the amount of times he's calling him over, what is he telling him? What is he trying to convey to him? Because whatever it is, it's no then working its way onto the pitch, Paddy.
Mate, it's overcoaching. That's all I can really put it down to.
Do you think the overcoaching, do you think that is that despite his confident facade, is that insecurities? Is that the signs of a young and largely inexperienced manager? If you're overcoaching, if you are, as they often say, you micromanage, if you're needing your fingers in all the pies constantly, is that actually, contrary to what he says, is that self-doubt?
Well, you can call it what you want, mate. I'll call it an experience. I'll call it not having a clue. I don't know what else to say, mate. You think about how Martin O'Neill dealt with things, right? Martin O'Neill, as I said before, managed the players well. He knew the players knew their job, and it was just about picking the correct players for the correct formation that you're putting out there. Like you said, Steve, he's got guys playing in positions that they've not got a clue what they're doing. He's just putting players out there. It doesn't matter. Oh, you're a central midfielder, right? I need a left mid, right? I'll put you out there. All right, you're a right winger, right? I'll put you left wing back now because I've not got a left wing back. And right, wait a minute, McCowan, you any good in goals, right? And you get, do you know what I mean? He's just putting players into stupid positions, mate. And I just feel like he doesn't have a clue. And by shouting Callum McGregor over all the time and trying to basically tell him stuff to tell other players, it's just basically him trying to, I don't know, make himself look good, or like I say, trying to do something that I don't even think he understands. So how are we supposed to understand it? Spot on there, PE teacher coaching a school team, mate. You're bang on, absolutely spot on. I couldn't have said it any better myself.
Absolutely. Paddy, you know, we find ourselves just getting completely around in circles. You says that you don't think that the players are going to buy in. I don't know. It's just I'm genuinely lost for words. I felt that something there in that first half suggested that maybe, just maybe, that they'd started to pick it up. But then, as I say, the second half is completely inexcusable. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I said on my pre-show, that there's easy wins for Wilfred Nancy. Again, I refer back to the conversations I've had on our social medias and stuff. And one of some folks' criticisms was that I was being unfair, where I says, you know, you better understand that you need to start winning games. And I get pointed out, oh, he says he wants to win, he says he's hurting, he says he's human, he says he's this, that, and the next thing. And I get that, I do. There was an element of vulnerability there, right?
Yeah.
But the key point, Paddy, is that I think he speaks damn good English, so the lost in translation thing isn't there, for me anyway. I just don't think he's fully, truly grasped what the level of scrutiny that he's going to come under is, and everything that you say, maybe it'll be twisted, it might be misconstrued, it might be taken a completely different way, but the most important thing that I said is I have seen nothing from him. Well, apart from, again, I'll say it just because I've got to say it, apart from that first half, I've seen nothing that made me go, I kind of see what he's trying to do here. But that went for nothing because it didn't translate in the second half. But more importantly, I've heard nothing from him in a press conference that has instilled any level of confidence in you to say, this guy's got it, everybody's on side, he's told me everybody's on side. No, he didn't. He skirted around it, he jargoned around it about making a connection with him and about desire, and he didn't just turn and go, yep, the guys have been training well, they're taking in, it's a bit of a learning curve, but they're all in on it and they're working hard. Nothing to alleviate my fears, your fears, the nearly 600 folk in the comments that are all concerned about it. Done nothing and said nothing again tonight that suggested it. But one thing, the easy one that could get, as I says, is about bringing the fans along. It's about saying stuff to them and speaking that I understand what you're doing. Instead, he's going, well, they're not happy with me. I mean, I can't control that. Mate, nobody wants to hear that. You know, even if you're just saying, well, I'm want to show them through my work and through what we do, and you know, believe me, I really want us to win, and I'm passionate about this, and I understand what winning means to this club. Just say it. Just say the stuff. It's not going to buy you hundreds of fans, but it might just help. And tell you what, the one thing everybody's going off their nut about, walking down the tunnel tonight again. Walk up, there you go. You see the fans, the banners, and he's just head down, straight down the tunnel. Now, I don't know if that was maybe just that camera angle. Maybe he did. Let me know. Did he stand and clap, or at least give the wee, you know, I'm sorry, the acknowledgement, or did he just fuck off down the tunnel again?
Well, he clapped after the United goals, didn't he?
Yes, but again, glad you say that, because I don't know if it's just a clap, like, come on, let's go, but if you're caught on camera clapping and 2 goals going into you, it's no helping you, mate. No. What's your thoughts on this? Again, I'm not saying Danny Rowe, that's the bit. See, after, as you say, get scudded off Bran, he manned up, he walked in front of him, they clapped him. And again, I know football fans are fickle. That's the nature of football fandom. But bought him a wee bit of credit to the bank where he went, do you know what? Unlike Russell Martin, who just disappeared down the fucking tunnel, he faced up to it. He knew he was going to be taking it tight, and he faced up and he, you know, acknowledged the fans. I can't believe that when he talks about the connection with fans and the importance of fans to this club, that 4 games down a trot, he's not done that. And I don't care. I mean, I know it's Bertie Care pishes to say, but for a man who's swimming in piles of shite and his stock is severely low, if it was an election, he'd be fucking, be losing rapidly by a landslide. He needs to just do the wee tiny, minute things that we buy lip service, Paddy, innit?
If he didn't know how the fans felt about him before the game, Steve, he certainly knew how they felt come the 85th minute when they were singing Nancy, Nancy, get to fuck. Do you know what I mean? So that to me basically sums the game up, and he walked down there towards that, and he did, Steve, he hung his head in shame. And I felt like that was him possibly showing that the defeat got to him a wee bit, and it's probably the first wee bit of emotion that we've seen from him. Do you know what I mean? But we want to see that. If he is hurting, come out and tell us. Come out and say, listen guys, I'm really hurting, I'm trying to make this work, I've got the players doing this, we're doing this, blah, 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 blah. Don't just come out and go, the ball is the ball, we will win, okay, I am the best. It's not about the results, about performance.
I want to bring something up here, right? I'm suspecting, I don't know if Mark is somebody in disguise, right? Why are we so entitled? Mark, let me say this to you in the most polite way possible. If you are a Celtic fan, this isn't entitlement. Wanting the best for your club, wanting us to be, quote, world class in everything that we do, calling out and striving for better, and calling out bad performances when you see them, is actually being a goods fan in my books. Because see, if you sit there and you just go, well, it's no his fault, it's such and such his fault, and you play the blame game, right? You might as well just close your eyes and stick your head in the sand. We know you must be new to this channel, my friend, because the one thing that we have done consistently is absolutely tear strips off this board from the lack of investment in infrastructure and the lack of communication with fans and the lack of giving back to the fans and the lack of backing our several managers and the lack of selling players and not reinvesting and replacing. Mate, we have tore this board apart. We know that Brendan Rodgers was sold a dafty this season. We know that Martin O'Neill inherited shit, and we know that Wilfred Nancy has come in at a time when he can do nothing. He has a terrible squad. However, it falls on the players and it falls on the manager. I hate doing it, but I refer you back to Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill was sold a dafty. Martin O'Neill won 7 out of 8 games. So, it isn't entitlement, it's wanting better. Just out of interest, how many games are you happy to lose? How many more games, how many more points would you like to lose? You're a United fan, well, I've got to laugh because you are so entitled. A United fan, a Dundee United fan, surely is it a Dundee United fan? If it is, then I understand. If it was, I will say Man United when folks say United, because if you're a Man United fan, then they are the most entitled in the world. They still think they should be winning European Cups. But anyway, if you're a United fan, then yes, fair play, and you know what, you're good to be in here, and you've been, as I say, keeping it clean. We like that, but my point is, it isn't entitled. Now, I don't mean this to sort of sound like belittling. It's been a long time since Dundee United have been anything that resembles a dominant team, right? And I get that folks say Celtic fans, Rangers fans, I know it's a laugh saying Rangers fans, but Celtic fans have had it so good that you're entitled. It isn't entitled. It's the same way that I'm pretty sure that you as a United fan feel that despite unlucky that you probably were fucking raging that you hadn't won a game in 10.
Right.
So is that you being entitled because you wanted your team to pick up more points? But anyway, I appreciate you clarifying, mate.
Yeah, listen, I get the sentiment there with entitlement. Obviously, we expect a lot as Celtic fans, and that's the way that it's always been. And like I said, Steve, before we made the appointment of this manager, it has to be somebody who understands the size of the job. Somebody who can handle the pressure of having to win every single game that you play. Now, that's been 3 games that I think were winnable. I'll take Roma out of the equation. 3 games that I reckon were winnable, and 3 games that I reckon we should have won, and he's been nowhere near, mate. So for me, it really, really needs to just get the finger out, stop talking shit, and start backing it up on the park. Put players in the right positions. put the correct team out there, just play 4 at the back even. Do you know what I mean? Change things to the way it's been, the way we were before you came in, because 3 at the back certainly isn't working, and playing players in different positions and let them just run about daft isn't working. So it's about time that we actually fucking sorted it out, mate. We need to do it for Aberdeen, because if we don't beat Aberdeen come Sunday, that's it, mate. It's curtains, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that is the thing. Listen, we've been steadying about the 600 mark there, peaking out about 650. Really appreciate you all sticking with us here. I know that it's been like pulling teeth. I know that it's another one of these open therapy sessions rather than a match breakdown. Yeah, I think, again, it leaves me once more, Paddy, with more questions than answers. And that's really, I hate that helpless sort of feeling that we're in there. We've seen one change tonight, which is obviously the announcement that Peter Law will be leaving in the new year. I said, is it a new year, new leaf? Don't count on it. There's one of many that needs to go. And here's another one as well, Steve says, but the manager does need to manage, not coach. And that was always something I found quite interesting, because I believe when he was at Columbus Crew, he was head coach. Celtic have brought him in and he's manager. I know it's just jargon, it's language, but again, looking at Rangers, they call him a coach because that's the system that they work in. I just think that, realistically, Paddy, I am so intrigued to see how this pans out in terms of, at the weekend, mate, you strap yourself in, because it is a home game. We have seen massive protests. We've seen fan marches. We heard the fans voicing to the present board what they thought tonight. I think that it could be an absolute cauldron of, dare I say it, toxicity at the weekend. And how do you think, is this just making issues worse for us? Again, listen, I will always be sitting here and saying, make your voice heard. If you're dissatisfied, speak your truth. If you're going to, be chanting or whatever, as always, we say, keep it clean, keep it above board. Don't shame yourself. Fans are entitled to voice their opinion. But does this help us in any way, shape or form, playing against Aberdeen at the weekend, Paddy?
No. Playing against anybody, mate, the way that we're playing. Like I said, I don't care who we've got on Sunday. I do not feel confident coming up against anyone when we've got that man at the helm. You can laugh about the Brendan Rodgers driving the Honda Civic, Martin O'Neill turned it into a Ferrari. What is it now? What kind of car has this guy turned it into, mate? It's absolutely ridiculous. And the
a Lada Riva, do you remember that?
A Lada Riva, mate. I know, but they weren't French, so I don't know. A Renault 5, there you go. So an old Renault 5, man. Cutting short.
Man. No, a new one. New ones are actually class.
New ones are nice.
Go-karts, there you go. Go-kart.
50cc mini motor.
50cc mini motor. Here we go. Lada Riva.
It's ridiculous.
Steve-O knows.
See, there you go. You see a wee dark comment like that, and now the comments are going mad. Everybody putting in what type of car it is. It's certainly not going to be any decent car, I'll tell you that.
Crap cars. Get your crap cars. Do you know what we are, Paddy? Do you know what Celtic are right now? Do you ever remember that episode of Top Gear? Celtic are the Reliant Robin with the 3 wheels. Every time we try to take a corner, we end up tipping over. That's what Celtic are right now. That is exactly what we are. That's what we are right now. So, anyway, Paddy, let's close it up. Let's bring it to a close. We've been an hour and 15 minutes. Listen, still 550 odd in there. We truly appreciate it. Make sure you hit the subscribe, as we say. That will really, really help us. Yeah, plenty to chew over. I am sure we will have maybe some more follow-up from this tonight, some fallout. We might even hear some extended quotes from the manager. And our intention was to come back and talk about it tomorrow. We'll see how things pan out, We'll see how much we can do. And then, of course, at the weekend, I believe it's going to be Paddy and probably Stephen who are going to be down to hopefully talk about a win against Aberdeen. I will, as I say, on Friday morning. I am off to France. I might go and just try and find Wilfred's mum and dad. He keeps talking about and saying, listen, do you want to tell your Portuguese arse in gear and get some wins? But I joke. But Paddy, it's are we thinking here? What are we thinking here? Are you seeing the weekend far enough?
I'm not looking forward to it, mate. If I had to put my neck out and go for a result, I'd probably say not a 2-1 defeat, no, at least.
You know, Kev Graham put in a brilliant comment there where he says, at this moment in time, the weekend's action is possibly the 2 worst managers in the league.
Yeah.
Do you prescribe to that?
Well, I think there's an outstanding candidate for the worst manager in the league at this minute in time, and I know you can win manager of the month. Can you get absolute diabolical manager of the month? Because
Tit of the month. We might have a wee wooden spoon of the month. We might have a wee.
Well, we know who's getting that.
Well,
I'm not looking forward to it, mate. I'm really not. I don't think this man's got what it takes to be in charge. I would love to see a turnaround. I'd love to see him to go out there and Celtic to put on a performance, to go out and absolutely hammer Aberdeen, and everybody to turn around and go, wow, that's what it is. He's turned the corner here. He's got the players playing the way that he wants them to play and everything else. But again, mate, that's birthday cut fish.
In closure, the one thing that I would say is, the one thing that I would definitely say is, and I'll always encourage this, is we are angry, we're disappointed, we're feeling disillusioned, disenfranchised. The board they've got a lot to explain to do. They have made their bed, perhaps, with this option at this point. I think that, as I keep on saying, it might have been the perfect choice when you've got a full pre-season, but when it was in such a fragile position, the club on such a state of flux, really, really fragile, where we were needing to win by no matter what means. We couldn't lose any ground. We couldn't have any slip-ups. It was imperative that they got this 100% bang on. And at this moment in time, it doesn't look like that has been the case. We've also got the cat in the hat, Mr. Tisdale, who has to really shoulder a lot of the blame here as well. And of course, then that comes back to the other man in charge, which is the CEO. One's gone. Are there more to follow? Who knows? But what I will say is, despite all that, despite how angry we are, despite how irritated we are, how down in the dumps we are, as hard as it will be when that player go out on the pitch on Sunday against Aberdeen, when Wilfred Nancy's name gets announced over the tannoy, we cheer. We cheer. That's for me paramount. We need to. It's hard at times to put your arm around somebody and a team, but we are literally the difference makers. We will make and we will break people. And I understand at the end, when your frustration, if it's not going your way and it's boiling over, particularly as we saw right to death, I fully understand. But for the largest part, whilst it's still an even game, or you're leading or you're ahead, we need to keep top of it, because we need every single bit of help that we can to just scrape through. I repeat again, damage control, and we can help with a bit of that. So please, if you are at the game at the weekend, try and back the team, as we say. Back the team. We always back the team. And then after the event, depending on how it goes, we might let them know if we're happy or not. But during that game, whilst it's up and going, got to do it, haven't we, Paddy? It's hard at times, it's got to do it.
Well, what's the thing? It's not always easy being a Celtic fan, but we always do get there in the end, and we back our team to the hilt. It's tough. It's horrible at the minute. It really is, and I can't see Celtic fans, all Celtic fans, getting behind them. I can't see that happening. There will be some people there, and it's the same thing. It's like the whole collective movement and stuff as well, Steve. Well, you're never going to have a full 60,000 at Celtic Park.
No, of course
all singing for the same hymn sheet. You're going to have some people there who will back him simply because he's the Celtic manager, and you're going to have the people there who, like myself, don't think he's good enough. Would I boo him if I was there? No, I wouldn't. Right, I'm not that type of person, but I don't think the guy's good enough to be at Celtic. I really, really don't. I think he's totally out of his depth here. But we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of people in the chat saying, let's see how he goes on Sunday. We'll see how it works out.
And that's unfortunately all we can do at the moment, Paddy. We're walking into the unknown.
We're taking it game by game, Steve, and until we get players in, and I don't think he'll be sacked. I really don't. I would like him to be sacked. I think he should be sacked. And I'm not one of these people who just comes out and says that somebody should be sacked for not living up to my expectation. This guy, in my opinion, hasn't lived up to the expectation of the role of the job. So I just feel like he really needs to get it together and get it together quick. I think he will have the option, obviously, to go buy in January. Obviously, Michael Nicholson spoke about that, giving him money to bring in.
But once again, Paddy, just to close, I don't want this to go on and on. We could round circles. Just in short summary, do you trust?
No.
You don't trust them to pick a squad, mate, or tactics? Do you trust them to go and fill this team with winners? Do you trust Tisdale to assist them in identifying these winners and, more importantly, getting them in the door quick enough? Because, listen, let's not kid ourselves on here. See, as soon as day one opens, Celtic need the first player, the second player, and the third player in the door by the end of day one and the start of day two. Not fucking 6 days, 7 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into that transfer window, scrambling about the last minute. Celtic need players in right away at the start, more than they have ever.
Yeah, and I'm against it. Well, I don't trust these people to bring in players like that. I don't. I've got no trust in them at all whatsoever. So, yeah, listen, I totally agree with all of this. And even David there, get Tisdale out. I agree, 100%, mate. Get them out, get it changed. We need change. We need something different in here. We got change today. We got Orwell out. Brilliant. Now we need more change. We need to get this changed and get it going forward. We need to start winning games because this is absolutely pathetic.
Absolutely. Well, Paddy, thanks for joining me. I know it isn't hard doing these type of ones, as we say, it's group therapy. And thanks to every single one of you who have sat there, that have contributed, that have gave us your comments, gave us your thoughts, supported the channel, as we say, before you go off into the night and do whatever it is you'll be doing. Hit that subscribe button. Help us boost those numbers. I see there's about 40% of you that still don't do it. Cost you nothing. Do it. Hit the thumbs up and share Celtic World Order. Get us in more people's lives. So until the next time, Paddy from the middle of the North Sea, tell everybody, mate.
I'm not ginger, according to Anton Rogan's left foot. And as always, guys, hail, hail.
See you later.